So today we're going to talk about Pathpoint. This is a partnership that we've had with them now for a couple of years. It's been an excellent partnership. We think it provides value to you as a Bolt Access agent when you don't have the opportunity maybe to place one of those tough classes with the admitted market, and maybe we just don't have an option for you. Pathpoint has a very good E&S product with several A-rated carriers, and they have an excellent portal system where you can do submissions online. I just say they make E&S easy. Anyway, with that, I'm going to pass it over to Kelly McMahon. Kelly's going to start us off with the presentation. So with that, I'll just turn it over to Kelly and she'll get us started.
Great. Thanks, Mark. As Mark said, I'm Kelly. I work on the Strategic Partnerships team here at Pathpoint, and I'm joined by my colleague Jane, who is the Regional Sales Director. She oversees the account managers who are assigned regionally, who will be your day-to-day contact on submissions and binds that you submit through our portal. I'm going to give a quick overview of Pathpoint as well as its appetite, and then I will pass to Jane to do a demonstration on how easy it is to get a bindable quote in under 10 minutes for small commercial E&S. So Pathpoint was created due to the difficulties of writing E&S. Like historically, there's lots of back and forth between the agent, wholesalers, and carriers. You can wait days or weeks for a quote if you even get one. It can be cumbersome to try to manage the documents as they come in. And because of all of these things, writing small commercial E&S is often time consuming and unprofitable due to the lower premiums. Admitted markets had streamlined digital solutions for this, but our founders couldn't find it for E&S, so they set out to build it, made with the goal of getting you an answer as soon as possible, whether we can or cannot write it. Pathpoint is a modern wholesaler that enables agents to submit accounts online and immediately get multiple bindable quotes instantly. We deliver a quote in an average of 9 minutes or less. You can bind the same day, and it's usually issued within 24 hours. Your application will be submitted to all eligible markets, again, trying to remove the inefficiencies of having to resubmit the data for each market or broker. And once you submit, one of three things will happen. You'll get an instant bindable quote, not just an indication. We currently auto quote over 75% of submissions. If it does not auto quote, it can refer to underwriting for additional questions, or you'll get a declination if we don't currently have appetite for it. Regardless of these three outcomes, you'll get a pre-filled accord form and supplemental. So that makes it easy for you to shop the risk elsewhere. Again, our goal is to help you get a quote, whether it's with us or someone else, as easily as possible. We only work with AM Best rated A or better carriers. We do provide those pre-filled forms and applications. We have end-to-end document e-signing. Again, trying to make this historically inefficient process efficient. So we guide you and the insured through where to sign and make that as quick and easy as possible, removing that printing and faxing that you may see historically. Our self-service website is available 24/7. We do offer direct bill optionality through our payment processing partner, Ascend. We will send the payment link directly to the insured so that you do not have to handle that. And all policy maintenance can be done through the portal. Pathpoint has done a lot of work to help folks that are new to E&S. In addition to established carriers you can rely on, we handle all taxes and filings, and we have dynamic subjectivities based on states, so you don't have to keep up with all the requirements there. If we need it, we'll ask for it, and we'll walk you through that step by step. We do offer e-signing packets for both you and the insured to make it easy to download and retain those documents and have them easily referenced. I'm going to do a spotlight and overview of our appetite. So our two largest verticals now are LRO and contractors. For LRO, we offer general liability, property, and package options. We cover mixed-use buildings as well as vacation rentals, short-term rentals. Think of Airbnb, Vrbo. We do cover high-risk coastal properties. The terms are automatically set based on distance to the coast. Our property is up to 3.3 million TIV, 5.6 per policy. However, we do go up as high as 10 million for coastal states such as Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, South Carolina, and Texas. We do cover buildings that are built as early as 1850. However, we do recommend for any property constructed over 20 years ago, you gather information on complete updates such as roofing, electric, plumbing, and heating systems to secure the most favorable terms there. Contractors, think handyman, subcontracting, tree trimming, welding, pressure washing. We also cover over 50 plus class codes in Colorado, which can be a very hard market for contractors. We have no limits on subcontracting. We can do up to 100%. We cover new ventures, non-renewals, coverage lapses, and risk with prior loss history. Historically, people have been kind of afraid of contractors, thinking it's going to be higher premiums than admitted markets, but we do have premiums starting as low as $495. This is an overview of our full offerings. We talked about contractors and lesser's risk, but we also cover vacants. That'll be up to 2.5 million TIV for commercial property. These are properties that are less than 30% occupied. Anything more is considered lesser's risk. We have no restrictions on square footage or locations. Retail and services, this will be, beauty shops, nail salon, food trucks, convenience store, grocery, beer, wine, our retail stores, including clothing, furniture, laundry, that kind of thing. Restaurants, bakeries, bars, barbecue pits, smokers, BYOB establishments. The only thing to call out here is we do not cover liquor liability, so that is something you'd have to shop elsewhere. Manufacturing is going to be our largely small distribution, such as beauty products, candles, clothing. Think really like your Etsy shops for this. And with that, I will once again put on the screen the URL to register if you want to follow along with Jane, and you can also use the QR code here. And Jane, you can take it away.
Perfect. Thank you, Kelly. So I love to start here at our Pathpoint website because this is a great place to just start learning about Pathpoint, exploring Pathpoint, and getting familiar with our appetite and how to write business with us. So the types of coverage, Kelly already went over this, so I'm not going to dive into it too detailed, but as you can see, we are very strong in general liability, commercial property, package, excess, and cyber. The verticals then, that's going to be our specific product lines. So contractors, lesser's risk, our top two. And then we have those vacants, restaurants. And you can click on these and really dive into the specific appetite guides and also a high level overview of our appetite too, to just get yourself started. What I really love though is our resource library. So the Help Center is a wonderful spot to go if you want to learn more about our appetite, if you can't remember how to quote, if you forget how to bind, or if you want to know more about our payment processes and billing. This is a fantastic place to self-service, but you also will always have an account manager as well that you can lean on if you have any questions that aren't answered. So hopping back here, what we really want to do, we want to log in. And when you log into the portal, this is going to be your homepage. So starting out, you'll have all of the submissions that you've ever sent in. You will see your quotes, your drafts, your bind requests, referrals, all of that fun stuff. There's a policy tab and a renewals tab. So hopefully this will be a lot more full than mine is. A thing I really love though is we also have the agency view feature. So if one of your colleagues is out for the day and an insured comes in, they need to bind coverage very quickly, you can take over what they were working on and get it through all the way. But you don't have to access all 14,000 submissions for your agency. You can just go back to your personal view when you're ready. We also have this feature of action items. Right now mine is blank, but what would pop up here would be when you submit a bind request and maybe you need a subjectivity correction. Maybe we need a document signed, or maybe we're waiting on the payment. Maybe you started a submission and didn't finish it, or you have an upcoming renewal. We do like to keep you up to date with as much as possible right in front of you. So that's a feature I love. And then the top left corner here, this is where you're going to be able to do your policy management. So after you have bound your first quote, you have a policy, maybe you need to add a new building. So request an endorsement here, request your policy cancellations here, your loss runs. Eventually, we also will be adding inspection information here as well. So again, everything will hopefully be at your fingertips. You also can access our Ascend vendor by clicking this billing and commissions box, and that will take you to your Ascend portal so you can access everything billing wise for your insured, their finance plans, their payment links, their invoices, whatever it may be. So let's go ahead and get started with a submission. When we click that start submission box, it's going to take us to this page. So as you're getting familiar with Pathpoint, learning our appetite, or maybe you just aren't sure how to classify something, you can come in here and type in quite literally anything. So maybe it's a concrete guy who fills cracks. Click enter, and you're going to go ahead and see here, we came up with 3 different classes that we think would be the best option for you. You'll click that. It shows you a high-level overview of the appetite, what's included, what is excluded. And if you're ready and you want to click that, you can click create submission. I do want to show you quickly though, if when you are fully familiar with how to classify, you don't need help, you can simply pass over this and click see offerings. So this is going to hold all of our different product lines, every different line of coverage that we write as well. You can select here. And what I love is that we, again, give you a high-level overview of our appetite. We show you the carriers that we write with, and then we actually show you what our instant quote rate is. So 73% of the time, you're going to get an instant quote back. And then when we review the referrals, when we review the declinations, that number actually jumps out closer to 85%. So very, very cool to see. And that is listed across the board here for Lester's Risk as well. So today we're going to go ahead and quote a contractor. So you can start one of 2 ways. You can upload a completed accord and our system will pull the big information off of that accord and get you started. Or you can start manually. Personally, that's what I do because I hate accords, and we are a fantastic starting point because you either get the quotes you need, or we actually provide pre-filled accords and a supplemental at the end of quoting every single time, whether we quote or decline. So again, great starting point because you either get what you need to present to your insured, or you can take those accords and run and market them elsewhere. So let's start manually today. I did pre-fill an application for you, so you don't have to watch me type. And to show you here, all of our class codes are hyperlinked, so you can again see what is included, what is not included, and then we'll show you this actually isn't even in Pathpoint appetite. So we do try to give you as much information up front. I'm going to quote a remodeler today. I'm not quoting subcontractors, but we do love them. We'll write up to 100% subcontractors, so a true paper GC. You just would need to answer a few more questions if you have them. General information is as easy as it sounds. We just need to know what is going on with this insured. What are their operations? Do they have a website? That's always more helpful if they do. We, of course, need to know their revenue because several of our carriers rate off of revenue. For payroll, if it is just an owner, we don't need any payroll because we automatically calculate the minimum payroll by state. So you don't need to think about that. You don't need to remember it. But if there is an employee, that is where we do need the payroll. That's where it comes in. So always put that on there. Then it just asks a few more of those general normal questions. Have there been losses? Has coverage been canceled? Was there a lapse? If any of those were answered yes, we would just need some more information on what happened. However, we will absolutely still take a look at it. We'll hopefully still be able to write it. What will happen if we need additional information is this green light system up here will turn yellow. So right now it's green. It says we're getting an instant quote. If this was to be referred to underwriting, it would turn yellow. It would take a little bit more time to get those quotes back. If it turned red, typically, yes, that is a declination. I always recommend, though, to continue submitting it because questions can easily be changed. And sometimes we review the declination and it actually can be quoted. So always submit. Eligibility, these are our underwriting questions that we have gone through with all of our carriers to make sure you are not answering the same question twice. So I'm just kind of scrolling through these right now. Hopefully you'll look at them a little bit closer. Exposures, the most important thing here for contractors is that these add up to 100%. So if you didn't do math quite correctly, thankfully our system does let you know where you went wrong. And this goes across the board. If you forgot to answer a question or skipped a page, it will take you directly to that question that we need answered, and it will let you know where you went wrong. So you never get to the end of the submission and just have a grayed out button. Coverage details. So we do ask for target premium. The reason we ask for it is if it is referred, we want to make sure that we are effectively getting you back the quote that you need. So if it is going to be out of the quote range for our carriers, we typically will be able to tell you faster. And this just helps us make sure that we are getting as much information upfront for you. So always, if you have it, submit it and then submit as much information behind. The limits are pre-filled to what we see most frequently, but you can come in here and change to what your insured needs. And then endorsements. So we offer the option to add several endorsements up front, so you don't have to wait to add them midterm. Additional insured ongoing operations is one we see most frequently, but of course the waiver of subrogation. We also do hired auto and non-owned auto and contractors in the marine. So if they need tools, equipment, coverage, we are able to help with all of that. Additional information, if there's anything else you want us to know, always add it into this box. And if you do have lost runs, an additional supplemental, anything that would help us if this gets referred, please upload it there. Now you just review everything that you just entered. You want to make sure it all looks good to go. You're going to click this market tab and it will show you everything that is in appetite and what will decline. So looks like we should have a pretty good option here. I'm going to click submit and then it simply just runs as quickly as your internet speed. So you can see that we did get several different options. So we always provide as many quotes as possible so that you can review the coverage and you can see what is best for your client. By doing that, you would want to click this little drop-down details box. The reason I chose Crum & Forrester is because if you remember, I wanted hired and non-owned auto. It is available here, whereas with these other carriers, they weren't able to quote it. So the details are going to show a coverage overview, the endorsements that you requested, and a cost breakdown. So if you are on direct billing, we will provide a financing estimate upfront that you can present to your insured at the time you present the quotes. And then what will happen is we then send the insured that payment link and they can either choose the financing plan or they can pay in full. So additionally, the quote letters here are cover letter and financing estimate, all for downloading. Now, if you want excess liability, if you need additional limits, it truly is as easy as clicking this button because a new page opens and you have 1 to 5 million limits that you can choose from to quote. So we really like to make things as easy as possible there. I do just want to point out before I move on to binding these pre-filled documents. So if none of these options worked for you and your insured, you could take these documents and mark it elsewhere. Today, though, we're going to choose this Crum & Forrester quote because it has what we need and it's a great price. We're going to go to subjectivities. So we do have 2 ways of doing subjectivities, e-sign or downloading and signing. I recommend e-sign because it's the fastest, happy path to getting things done. And what you'll do here, you'll click this start button. Now I'm quoting in Illinois today, which Illinois makes it very easy with our diligent effort form. So all we simply need is the licensed producer information and the insured's information. But I will tell you if you're quoting in California or New York or Texas, the state guidelines do ask for declinations from carriers and additional underwriting information. So you will fill all of that out here on this page before you're able to sign the documents. And then when we're ready, let's go ahead and sign. You accept your signatures, you consent to sign, you sign all, you'll likely review everything before you sign. Now this says waiting for others. So what I like to point out is that we do not send the payment link to your insured. You do have to go back here, refresh this, and send it yourself so that nothing gets sent out in mistake and we don't take any control away from you. So all you do is copy this link, then you're going to go find your Gmail box or a text message. You'll paste it in there, and then they will see the exact same thing that you did, except with their information. They'll accept, they'll consent to sign, and they will sign all. So now they're able to download all of the documents to keep for their own records. And then you as the agent will get an email letting you know your insured signed. Please go finish the bind request. All of the documents now live in here, which is why it's so easy because you don't have to upload everything one by one. You confirm that everything here is true and valid. And then we do always need on audit contact information. And then again, if you're on direct billing, we will need the payment information as well. Because what happens when you click this request to bind button, our underwriter will get a notification that a bind request is in. They review the subjectivities, review the risk, they approve everything, and then your insured and you will get a payment link So what does that payment link look like? It looks like this. It simply is letting you know, hey, you need to make a payment. You continue to payment options. The finance option is the first, where it tells you the interest, the down payment, and the installment options, or we can pay in full. So once that insured makes their payment, then that is when it gets back to our underwriting team and it gets processed and it officially is bound. So that is our quote to bind process. I know I moved quickly through that. So what questions do you guys have?
No, I was just going to ask any questions. Now is your time.
Oh, okay. I do have one. This is Pat Watson. I have two, in fact. I came in a little bit after you had started, so I assumed that you were doing a sample of a commercial contractor. So my question is, I saw that you said target premium. That's something that we enter?
Yes, yep. So that is something that you enter if you have a target premium in mind. So if you own the account and the quote is expiring somewhere else or non-renewed, and maybe they were expiring at 5,000, so you're trying to get a quote for your insured before that or under that 5,000, that's what you would put in there. It's just an indication. It's just what you're looking for. It's also not required, but we try to gather that information so that we can make sure we're getting you the best quote possible.
Okay, so if it's a new venture and they have no idea, I mean, just go by what they. I'm quite sure if I was to ask a new client, what would you like to pay in premiums, they're going to say as little as possible. So
yes, yep. And so if that's the case, totally fine. And instead of putting in a target premium, you would just check the box that says I don't have a target premium in mind, and you can skip over that entirely, and that's no problem.
Okay, and the last question is, I heard you say declination from carrier on the last. So is this okay? So in order for them to go through both, do they need declinations, or was that
Yes.
something specific? Okay.
Yes, yep. So it varies by state. We are a ENS non-admitted carrier. So some states do require declinations from standard carriers before they will allow you to place it within the ENS market. So again, it varies by state. Illinois, they don't care. Nebraska, they don't care.
How about Wisconsin?
Wisconsin, I also think I don't think they care, but to be honest with you, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Mhm.
Most, if they do require it, simply it's just what was the name of the carrier, who was the underwriter, and then you can put it in there. So you don't have to like attach a declination letter or a declination email. It's just simply, did you do your due diligence as the agent to get the best price in the standard market first before you came to ENS?
Okay.
And they would get a form too, right, Jane? Like for that particular state, they're going to get the due diligence form where you complete that part of it anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Exactly. So yeah, so on that first page where you start the e-sign, instead of it just asking for the insured information, you would have to answer a few more questions of what carrier did you try to place this with? Maybe it was nationwide and your underwriter declined it. That's really all we're looking for.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
There's a question in the chat from Irina. Are you allowing a broker's fee to be added to the premium?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
So we do allow that on our direct billing. There's a couple things to note. Obviously, there are state guidelines, so just know your state guidelines for how much you can put as a fee, and also that fee won't show up until the time of invoice. So it doesn't get placed on the quote letter today. That's something we are looking into to add, but it doesn't show up until the invoice for the insured.
Okay.
Anybody else? Thanks, Pat, for your questions.
Oh, sure.
Any others? And also, I just want to add, just so you know, when you register with that link as a Bolt Access member, that gives you access to work with Pathpoint directly. So you don't have to go through Bolt Access for anything on these submissions or accounts. And even when you write one, I believe you can go there for servicing as well. You don't have to contact us first.
Oh, okay. So this is Pat again. So I'm confused right there. You said link.
There's a link in the chat, Pat, that you can use to register. Also, if you're when you're in the Bolt Access Rater, you say you're doing a GL submission or something, and you don't get a rate back, just say it's a class that none of our admitteds write. There's a link as well for Pathpoint where you can register there. But if you want to go ahead and get registered now, Kelly's got the link in the chat. And you can sign up. So that way, when you are in Bolt Access and you don't have an admitted market, you just know like, oh, okay, I'm already signed up with Pathpoint. I can go directly to them and do a submission.
Oh, I see. Okay, because I'm on the. I got the boat.
Yeah, if you look in the chat, Kelly's
I
got
see.
the link there for it. And if anybody, if you want to go ahead and use that to sign up, I think it would be a good thing. Might save you a step later on.
Okay.
And
thanks.
also, I'll send everyone on the call a follow-up email with the link and a link to our appetite guides, and as well as my email. So if you have any questions upon registration or your first submission, you can contact me at any time.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody. We really appreciate you all being Bolt Access members. Kelly's going to send out some information with contacts, and I think we're good. So, and thanks Kelly and Jane for your presentation. I think this was really good stuff. Great system to use. Super easy. So thanks everybody, and enjoy the rest of your week.
Thanks, Mark, and thank you everybody for your
Thank
time.
you.